talked to me about having trouble getting our live feed on YouTube. And I also, it's a little bit persnickety there on YouTube. I do the same thing every time, and sometimes live shows up and sometimes it doesn't. If you try to click in before it's actually on, you won't see it. But what you're looking for is live, and it's probably not bad to put that in your search.
Okay. Or like I said, you can get it off of our website. The link is right there. But if you're searching with your YouTube app, yeah, it's Mornings with the LeaderMan. LeaderMan's all one word. And that should throw it to the top of the search. And, yeah, putting live in there won't hurt either. Okay, it's rolling. And like I said, if you just need audio, you can get that also with the TuneIn app. On your mobile device, just put WEEB into the app. Or you can get it off of our website in the upper right-hand corner of any of our web pages at talk973.com, where the icon says Listen Live. One click of that, and you're listening that quick. Somebody was saying that the audio was low yesterday on the YouTube, so I turned it up some more today, and we'll see how that works. All right, it is 7:28 past the hour. Let me get Ray Parker to shut up here. And we're going to correct a mistake I made. Played the wrong Zoom wall zone. You know, you come in, you do all these things. You say, I know I'm missing something. I know I forgot something. I know I forgot something. And you go, oh, well, I'll figure it out as I go. And boom, it shows up immediately. I forgot to put in the latest version of the Zoom wall zone. So we will correct that right now because we don't want to miss the wisdom of John Zumwalt.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt zone. There's a kind of kick going around that I think is a scam to get us to do things we don't really want to do. Someone will say something like, you can do it. After all, 50 is the new 40. Or, come on, 40 is the new 30. It doesn't seem to work at my age. I'll say, I'm 68, and they'll say, come on, maybe you ought to take a nap. What? Every age is the new something except my age? Now, I don't blame people for getting upset with my generation. Did you see those old fools sitting down at the State of the Union address? They can't clap for a war hero. Can't clap for a child who puts flags on the graves of soldiers. These men and women made me sick, and it makes me just as sick when the Republicans do it. Their actions clearly showed that they have no interest in bringing this nation together. I don't care how much you hate the president and how much you detest his policies. Get off your old, wrinkled-up butt and cheer for the heroes that he introduced. They deserve it. If I could say anything to these congresspeople, I'd say, you looked ridiculous. If I'd been a funeral home director, I'd have headed that way. You looked like you were half dead. Now, I know I'm beating this dead horse, but one more time. I've never seen such a bunch of hateful, bitter, old coots gathered in one place at one time. I hope they stay out of the Zumwalt zone.
All right. Okay, I'll get that reloaded at the top of the hour so it's there for next hour, too.
Did I just hear John Zumwalt advocate that Jamie Bowles goes to Congress? Quite certain I heard something along those lines.
I don't think so. All right, 7:30 past the hour. There's a team of scientists that are trying to teach a 14-year-old killer whale. They call them killer whales, but technically they're a porpoise. They're not a whale at all. But that's what they've been marketed as. So I say it so you know what it is, but it's really more akin to flipper than it is to the whale.
And I didn't know that until about a month or two ago when I heard it right here on Mornings with the LeaderMan.
But anyway, they're trying to teach a 14-year-old killer whale named Wiki how to speak. She doesn't really pronounce words, but she's definitely imitating what the trainer says. Now, if you could get the whale to learn enough vocabulary, then it might be able to actually communicate back to the human. Thought.
No more than any other.
I know they've done it with gorillas and chimpanzees and with talk boards. And they'll talk in simple sentences back to you.
And before you run this, there was an experiment done a few years back where they took a a dolphin rather, and trained it how to open a cage to get from one side of the pool to the other. Then they brought its mate in, put the mate in the locked area, put the other one out in the open area, and guess what happened?
He taught her how to do it.
No, nothing, because they're animals. Because they don't have higher functioning like that.
No. Well, I know all animals talk in their own way.
Either that or he just wanted to keep her in there because he was tired of her. I don't know which
He says,
it was.
I've heard about you all. I'm not going down that street.
Maybe they're super genius. I don't know.
Got news for you, honey. I'm gay. Put a mail over there. Maybe I'll respond. Anyway.
Ooh, that went sideways fast.
Back to the killer whale. So anyway, they here's the trainer talking to the whale and trying to get it to speak.
Hello? 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 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.
So there's the whale learning. But actually,
If you got an imagination, you can hear it. But I didn't realize whales talked out their butts. They're like politicians.
well, actually, we brought a real expert in. And the whale wasn't saying 1, 2, 3 and all that good stuff. He was just talking, but the trainer wasn't listening. So we have reinterpreted it so that now it will make sense.
Begin by saying hello. Now do your impression of Yoda. And what happens when you eat at Chipotle? Who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? Of course, the Eagles. And what do you think of other morning shows? Well, thanks for being on ours, and goodbye.
There you go. See,
I'm glad we got
that's
our...
what he really said.
Yeah, we got our disgruntifier out there. That's excellent.
Okay.
That's good radio, Steve, right there.
Of course it is. If you're having a big party for the Super Bowl, you're going to need a Super Bowl, a toilet super enough to handle all those guests. You know what we're talking about.
It's time for the big game, and that means big parties. But many parties will run into a big problem.
Hey, who's in the bathroom? I gotta go.
Introducing the Super Bowl, the biggest toilet ever made. The Super Bowl is made especially for those big get-togethers because it can handle 1, 2, 3, up to 10 party guests at a time.
Hey, how about that catch, huh?
Wow, what a catch.
Wait, well, while watching it, you're splashing me.
Now everyone can go at the same time and never miss a play. Plus, the Super Bowl's giant oval bowl can flush away 100 gallons of water at once. So you'd better get out of the way.
Sorry, Kenny.
The Super Bowl. Get it for your next super party. Available at all massive hardware stores.
Stay clear of Super Bowl when flushing. Super Bowl can cause injury, loss of appendage, or death. Please read flushing instructions before use.
All right. Well, it's not everybody thinks it's a Super Bowl. Some people think it's a stupid bowl, a la Kim Jong-un.
And now, a minute with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Hello, you dum-dums in America. It's me, Kim Jong-un. And I hear you have big super game Sunday. Oh, well, big dang deal. It's stupid. Cause football terrible sport. You wear silly helmet, throw dumb ball around. Here in North Korea, we have real sport. Like run from soldier, dodge bullet. Ha! Now that's fun to watch. We have party here too. You have really bad food like chips and deep veggie tray. That rabbit food. Here we had lots of good food. Like rabbit, goat fries, and rat in a blanket. Mickey Mouse tastes good. So you go eat your terrible food. I watch Rifle Relay and eat. Ha! Look at that person run. He's so dead.
That was a minute with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Well, there's only one thing more annoying than people saying dilly dilly from those Bud Light commercials, and that's the fans from Philly.
My lordship, my gift to the kingdom is a case of Bud Light.
Philly, Philly!
But your highness, don't you mean dilly dilly?
Bite your tongue! Better yet, one of you bite his tongue! Philly, Philly! Anheuser-Busch, proud supporter of the Philadelphia Eagles. Unless, of course, Tom Brady does his thing again, then just pretend you never heard this. Philly, Philly!
There you go. All right.
You going to make a prediction, Steve? Who's going to win? Are you going to be watching?
I really don't have a dog in the fight. Anybody in their right mind would tell you got to definitely respect the Patriots. I mean, they've been in there. They've been there. They were just there last year. The last 2 years, I believe, wasn't it? So they have the experience of being under the pressure of the Super Bowl and know what to expect and can, it's just another important game to them. And they're very talented. Of course, Tom Brady just has talent that most of the quarterbacks don't have. But the question becomes, who wants it more? And I don't know. The Phillies looked awful good against the Vikings. The Eagles. And I'm going to say the upset. I'm not pulling for either one. I don't care who wins. But I think the Eagles might squeak this one out like a 24-20 win. Because they want it hard, and they get. Here's the thing: if they're behind early, I think they'll lose. I mean, when I say behind, one touchdown, no, but they get behind like 3 touchdowns, they're done, or 2. They're probably toast because the Patriots are tough, and they really have to depend on mistakes by the Patriots. And at that level, when you get the 2 teams to get to the Super Bowl, you don't see the mistakes that you see throughout the season. You did that time that the Seahawks threw an interception there in the end zone and lost the game. They had the Super Bowl in their hands and literally gave it back to the New England Patriots by throwing the ball when they should have just run it. But anyway, that's football. So
you heard it, folks. LeaderMan is going to be, if the Eagles lose, LeaderMan is going to be buying us all lunch here at the station for the next year.
Yeah, right.
That's what I heard.
Count on that for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Someone donated. It only happened in Florida. Someone donated a loaded grenade launcher to a Goodwill store last weekend.
Come on.
I kid you not. Here is Sharon Flinton, who shops there, along with the manager.
How is that even possible? I've seen some crazy off-the-wall things, but no.
Shock, surprise. When you've been around for a little while in this business, you've seen a lot of things get donated.
Who's going to buy that? And if they are, why are they going to buy that? That'd be a little bit unnerving.
Urn with ashes inside of it, firearms, ammunition, stuff like that.
If staff finds a weapon or grenade, what's next?
Well, they would open up the tote, they would look, identify it immediately, call a member of leadership, and then we would contact law enforcement. We would never want to put any of our customers or employees at any safety risk at all.
Well, let's suppose I'll give you a real situation here. You're at home and the wife finds a pair of women's underwear in the bed, and they're not hers.
Walking around in women's underwear.
And the guy doesn't know where literally does not know where they came from. But, of course, she's not going to believe that. Not for a second. that those strange underwear ended in her bed. And the guy in New Zealand got accused of having an affair.
Yeah, where is he?
Huh? New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Who got accused of having an affair when his partner found another woman's underwear in her bed. But it turned out the cat was stealing other people's clothes off their clotheslines and bringing them back to the house. And a pair of underwear ended in the bed.
That guy's a genius. So now he's got an alibi until the cat dies.
His name is Ed Williams. He says the cat steals a couple's piece of clothing a day, and the neighbors are starting to get irritated, although they also see it in a humorous way.
One day my partner came in, I was still in bed, she'd just come back early in the morning from work to find a pair of knickers at the end of our bed, which obviously I didn't have an explanation for, so that's where it first started. Then we found a big bra on the back step, which again had no explanation. It was only after a couple of weeks that we actually saw him come across the road with a t-shirt in his mouth that we realised it was Mo. So he basically scours the local neighbourhood for clothing. There's 3 new pieces today. So we gave the most recent box back to the neighbours last week. Within under a week, we've got a new collection started already, so probably 5 or 6 pieces. I think they're getting a little bit annoyed, but they do see the funny side of it as well. So I've spoken to them all about it, and a lot of them come over and collect the clothes when, you know, when we've got a collection of them. If anybody is watching this and they've been missing some clothing from Mount Eden, please do come around and see me. More than likely I will have them.
Well, that'd have been an icy breeze to live under for a couple of weeks until they saw the cat, huh?
Yeah, well, he talks about they have to come over and get their clothes back. I think he ought to be going knocking on their door and giving them back.
Well, yeah, that would be impractical. But that woman would be completely rational to assume he was lying. Wow, that's a tough one.
Yeah. A bunch of from our good news story this morning, a bunch of elementary school students in the Philadelphia area did a fundraiser and bought Super Bowl tickets for their bus driver, who's been an Eagles fan since he was young. They just did it to show appreciation because all the kids love him so much. The woman in the middle is Amy Smith, who organized the fundraiser. The driver's name is Gary Kilmer.
Oh, boy! Mr. Gary! Mr. Gary! He's my favorite bus driver, and he's very, very nice. Me too.
This is a special dream come true. I'm ecstatic. I am ecstatic. My father took me to Franklin Field in 1960 for the NFL championship.
He just goes over and above. He's so kind. He's a wonderful person. He does so much for the community.
Fly, Eagle, fly, on the road to victory.
All right, well, George Clooney, another Trump hater, is on a new episode of David Letterman's new show on Netflix. And there's a preview clip where he talks about how he met his wife, Amal. Here's how easy it is when you're George Clooney. He didn't even have to leave his house. He says his agents introduced him and predicted that they would get married.
You met your wife, and excuse me if I got this wrong, and I just started twitching when I heard this. She came over to the house. You didn't even have to leave the house.
I didn't leave the house. No.
Oh, God.
No, it's the wildest thing. A mutual friend of ours said, I'm stopping by, and can I bring my friend? And I was like, of course. And I got a call from my agent who called me and said, I met this woman who's coming to your house who you're going to marry.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So now this was arranged by an agent? Your talent agent had done all the paperwork ahead of time.
It really worked out that way.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing was my mom and dad were visiting, so my parents were there. And we just talked, and we stayed up all night talking. And then, you know, I got her email address because she was going to send me some pictures of my parents. And then we started writing. I didn't really didn't know if she wanted to go out with me. I just thought, you know, we were buddies. And,
who would, George?
Yeah.
let's be frank. Who really would want to go out with you?
Okay. Not me. Scott Baio, he's been attacked by Nicole Eggert, who was on one of his shows, and he has tape of her saying, yeah, they had a relationship. This was after she was 18, and it was all consensual and everything, and she was happy about it. And now she's trying to get her 15 minutes of fame back because she's just a defunct actress who nobody wants anymore. So what better way to get attention than to accuse somebody of misbehaving? He went on Good Morning America yesterday to defend himself against everything Nicole has been saying about him. Here's Scott.
People are forgetting this, and it's very important how this is affecting me. Why somebody would come after me, my reputation, and stop me from doing something that I love doing, that I've been doing since I'm 9 years old. And more important than that is my wife. And I have a 10-year-old daughter. And my 10-year-old daughter does not need to be hearing about this from friends at school, these false allegations. Her job is not to defend me. My job is to defend my daughter. Her job is to be 10 years old. And that's why this has got to stop.
Well, it's called Big Lawsuit. Put it out there.
His denial the other day on YouTube or whatever seemed pretty strong to me. They said his lawyer had contacted her and said, if you want to make this allegation, do it to the police.
Yeah, well, the problem is it's already in the press, and he's a Trump supporter, and of course, so the press picks up on it. Oh, here's a chance to bash on a Trump supporter. We'll give her lots of time. It's kind of like the Stormy Daniels story. She's playing the media like a fiddle because she's a has-been porn star who wants another round of fame and people to buy her films and get to the limelight and become a household name so she can go around touring at strip clubs, showing her big tatas and, making a terrible amount of money, giving the impression that she may or may not have been with the president in the past. Although she signed a statement saying that she had not. Whether she did or not, who knows? And there's no way to prove it one way or the other. But she's just playing them. They're all booking her on their show because what? They can beat up on the president. You know what I did yesterday? I did a little social experiment here in the studio. While I was working on some paperwork and stuff, I said, I'm going to cut on, and it was torturous, let me tell you. Cut on CNN, and when they play commercial, I'll cut on MSNBC, and I'll just go back and forth for the afternoon and see if I can hear one positive thing about the country or the president. And just one word, one sentence, one thought. But I went the whole afternoon, and all it was Russia, 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 Russia. And they talked about the State of the Union. They said, oh, he didn't have the right tone. Or it's an Obama recovery. Let me tell you about that one. Everybody says it's an Obama recovery. I'm not saying Obama did everything wrong. Did most things wrong, but as far as the economy goes, putting Dodd-Frank into place and snuffing out businesses' ability to borrow money to move this economy forward, that's why we stayed on the bottom. And his oneness, trying to melt us as a oneness with the world and not protecting America's interest in the world. And it's kind of like baking a pie. You can put all the ingredients and recipe from your recipe into the pie, but if you get to bake it, what good is it? And that's one thing he did not do. He left two big ingredients, even though with the mistakes he made of funding. We gave him, if you don't remember, $1 trillion. $1 trillion. You can't even comprehend how much money that is. And said, spend it into the economy. And, he let the military go down. He let our infrastructure stay like it is. We're spending it on Solyndra and other stupid areas trying to save the world, so to speak. But anyway, Donald Trump comes into office, and what's the first thing he does? He starts talking about Carrier bringing jobs back or not taking jobs to Mexico and other business victories for America. He was putting it in the oven and ginning up the atmosphere that an economy has to have in order to recover. If all you're doing is hearing the bad stuff or we're just treading water forever, then that becomes the new norm. And if you're out there pulling for your country and you're saying things like, we got to put Americans back to work. We're putting them back to work. Here's an example of this, an example of that. And tweeting it out. That's putting the positive heat under the economy that it has to have the spark. He was providing the spark, and that's why it's starting to take off. If he had not, we'd still be stuck in Obamaville at your 1.5% GDP forever. The economy will adjust to it, but you don't grow. We had basically stagnation just above it because the wages were stagnant. Business was stagnant because they couldn't get the capital they need to grow. Still, it's not perfect yet, but it's going in the right direction. And that's the direction that it needs to go. So, yeah, he's out there beating the drum for America and going and talking to the people. And this is what it takes, a president to lead us out of the stagnation. And, African-American unemployment was falling. That was great under Obama. But he is getting it even lower, which is what we want. And when you're in the bully pulpit of the presidency, you get to take the credit. I don't care where it comes from. If it's good news, you take the credit. What did Bill Clinton do when he inherited the George H.W. Bush economy, which was a good one? Took the credit. And that just comes with the territory. It's much like when an arrest is made on somebody. Well, the chief gets the credit. But if something goes bad, he gets the blame, too. So
yeah, I would challenge anybody to objectively show a single policy of the Obama administration that would have improved the economy. Now, we did have a listener note that Stormy Daniels denied the affair, and she just released a statement here 2 days ago, said, the fact of the matter is that each party to this alleged affair denied its existence in 2006, 11, 16, 17, and now again in 2018. I'm not denying the affair because I was paid hush money, as has been reported in overseas-owned tabloids. I'm denying this affair because it never happened.
So there you go. But she got her publicity just by sitting there being mute and letting Jimmy Fallon ask his questions. I mean, she's on national TV. And what are all the perverts doing there in their Pornhub, typing in Stormy Daniels and looking at her films and buying her films? That's mission accomplished for her.
And looking to see where she's going to be on her Make America Horny tour again.
Yeah. Is she really having that?
Yeah. Yeah, she's going around to strip clubs now with this tour.
It figures. Who was that?
Free publicity, smart businesswoman.
That Octomom?
Yeah.
She had somebody offered her a ton of money to go out on these strip club tours, and she did.
And she did porn, too.
Yeah, and she did porn, too. And I guess made a good bit of money from it until the novelty wore off. But she was the headliner at all the strip clubs.
We had another listener agree with you that the Eagles are going to win.
Well, they very may. I think they got the eye of the tiger, as they say. They're hungry for it, and if they can avoid mistakes up front and stay in that ball game, I think that the breaks will come for them in their plays to get them into that end zone. And but Belichick has this way of throwing stuff at you haven't seen yet. So we'll see. I'm like everybody else. If you're going to watch it, at least you want to see a good game. You don't want to see a butt stomping. I guess if you're a true Eagles fan, you'd like to see a butt stomping, but as just a fan of a game, you'd like to see a good contest. And it maybe comes down like it has done in past, where it came down to the final play. Made or break, like the Seahawks had the chance to win it. They had the chance to sew it up and be done, and they blew it. And the New England Patriots win. That's all they had to do was punch it in the end zone, and they were on like the half-foot line, and they had several, I think 2 plays to get it in there. I can't remember every detail, and they chose to throw it over the middle, and there stood a New England Patriot to grab it, interception. And that was it. They said, why did you risk that when all you had to do was give it to your running back who's been getting 5 yards a carry? Just give it to him and let him plow a half a yard into the end zone and it's done. But they didn't. They didn't. You had a $40 million a year guy standing right there ready to win it for you, and you pull that play. And everybody was just stunned that, are you kidding me? They threw an interception on the half-yard line? Are you kidding me? All right. It's currently here in the Sand Hills area. We're looking at clear skies. See if that temperature's still holding. And, 36 degrees. Humidity 89%, dew point 33, pressure 3018, and visibility 10 statute miles. Your full forecast with number one's next, followed by the news. It is 8 o'clock.
Well, a cold front's on the way, but ahead of it, we're going to be in a rather stiff southwesterly flow of much milder air, so many of us should be able to make it into the 60s this afternoon.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt zone. There's a kind of kick going around that I think is a scam to get us to do things we don't really want to do. Someone will say something like, you can do it. After all, 50's the new 40. Or, come on, 40's the new 30. Doesn't seem to work at my age. I'll say, I'm 68, and they'll say, come on, maybe you ought to take a nap. What? Every age is the new something except my age? Now, I don't blame people for getting upset with my generation. Did you see those old fools sitting down at the State of the Union address? They can't clap for a war hero, can't clap for a child who puts flags on the graves of soldiers. These men and women made me sick, and it makes me just as sick when the Republicans do it. Their actions clearly showed that they have no interest in bringing this nation together. I don't care how much you hate the president and how much you detest his policies. Get off your old, wrinkled-up butt and cheer for the heroes that he introduced. They deserve it. If I could say anything to these congresspeople, I'd say, you looked ridiculous. If I'd been a funeral home director, I'd have headed that way. You looked like you were half dead. Now, I know I'm beating this dead horse, but one more time. I've never seen such a bunch of hateful, bitter, old coots gathered in one place at one time. I hope they stay out of the Zumwalt zone.
Bank signals that it expects to resume raising rates gradually. This would reflect the healthy job market and a booming economy. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey Sandhills, it's Anthony from Champion Car Wash and Detail Shop with a special announcement for our military servicemen and women. Are you being PCS'd outside the continental U.S.? Are you planning to bring your vehicle? Did you know that there's a very strict set of guidelines for how clean your vehicle needs to be to avoid being rejected at port? At Champion Detail Shop, we're highly familiar with the military's cleanliness guidelines for your car or truck, and we specialize in pre-PCS POV shipping prep. Stop by or call us at 692-5060. That's Champion Car Wash and Detail Shop, near the corner of Morganton and Broad in Southern Pines.
Poor vision robs you of your independence and quality of life. But Dr. Barry Cavanaugh at Seven Lakes Eye Care can help you. He provides full-spectrum optometric care that includes diagnosis and treatment of a wide array of eye diseases and conditions such as injuries, cataracts, glaucoma, macular degeneration, and dry eyes. Dr. Cavanaugh will take the time to actually learn about you and conduct a thorough examination using state-of-the-art equipment not available in chain stores. The optical dispensary has quality, guaranteed glasses, and Seven Lakes Eye Care accepts major medical plans, including Medicare, Medicare Advantage, TRICARE, and Blue Cross. From parking near the door to the caring and attentive staff, your visits will be comfortable, personal, and ensure maximum eye health. They're located on Seven Lakes Drive near Highway 211 across from the Food Lion. Call 673-3937 or Google Seven Lakes Eye Care.
I've got my eyes on you. Donuts so heavenly you'd think they were made by angels. Southern Angel Donut Company is now open for your heavenly pleasure in Olmsted Village behind the First National Bank. Sarah and the Angels are up daily at 3 a.m. making donuts the old-fashioned way, preparing holy taste bud delights like the maple bacon donut or their special apple fritters. And hey, Southern Angel Donuts make great business icebreakers because who doesn't like a great donut? Give Southern Angel Donuts a try today. Open 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. daily.
Does the idea of getting out into US 1 traffic make you cringe? The increasing traffic and impersonal service of chain drugstores is a reminder of why we like small town life. Hello, I'm Pat McLean, and I would like to welcome you to McLean Drug. We are located at 735 South Bennett Street beside Gold's Gym. It's all here. Friendly, helpful service, convenient access, drive-through window, and discount prices. So stop by or give us a call at 246-9355.
McLean Drug on Bennett Street in Southern Pines for the personal prescription touch.
NCN News. I'm Mike Rayleigh. The top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, Representative Adam Schiff, says the classified memo about surveillance of the Trump campaign was altered before being sent to the White House for review before its intended release by the Republican majority on the committee. Republicans are pushing back, asserting only minor edits had been made to the memo. More from CBS's Major Garrett at the White House.
House Republicans drafted this memo by themselves, altering the long-standing bipartisan tradition of the Intelligence Committee. No one here or on Capitol Hill will say if this White House participated in any way in drafting of the memo. Either way, it could be released as early as today.
The White House is confirming one fatality and 2 serious injuries after a chartered train carrying Republican lawmakers to a retreat in West Virginia hit a garbage truck. There are no serious injuries among members of Congress or congressional staff. North Carolina Congressman Robert Pittenger and Senator Tom Tillis were on board. Pittenger tells WREL-TV.
Yeah, well, it was a shock. Took him a couple of minutes before we began to obviously start looking out our windows and see what the issue might be, and we saw this huge amount of trash.
2 people were killed in a house fire in southeast Charlotte this morning. 1 person died on the scene and another died at a hospital. A dog also died in the fire. At least one school leader welcomes charter schools and other alternatives because he says they keep him, his teachers, and principals on their toes. Johnston County's school superintendent Ross Renfro says it's important for schools to figure out ways to improve.
It's the competition, knowing that there is another entity there that says, we think we can do this better than you're doing. So that's what motivates me.
Police in Greensboro responding to an assault report discovered 1 man shot to death, another person injured. Police say 28-year-old Lamar Nevius of Greensboro was declared dead at the scene. You're listening to NCN News.
Hi, I'm Brett Michaels for the American Diabetes Association. Diabetes is a constant battle. Testing, treating, fighting to live a normal life. I know. I've had diabetes since I was 6 years old. A lot of people don't think it's deadly, but diabetes kills more Americans each year than breast cancer and AIDS combined. It's been called a silent epidemic, and without your help, it will keep getting worse. Please join me in the movement to stop diabetes. Share your passion and your story. Get involved in local events like the Tour de Cure or the Step Out Walk. Learn how you can better manage this disease or reduce your odds of developing it. And give what you can to help us spread the word and fund programs like the Diabetes Camps for Kids and research to find a cure. Join the movement at StopDiabetes.com. Help us fight a deadly disease that shortens and burdens the lives of millions of Americans. Together, we can stop diabetes.
Olympic athletes may be getting some unexpected company in South Korea for the games starting next week.
An arbitration court has overturned lifetime bans for doping at the 2014 Games for 28 Russian athletes. The court also reinstated 7 Russian medals from the Sochi Olympics. The Court of Arbitration for Sport says it upheld the athletes' appeals because of insufficient evidence. The athletes competed in bobsled, skeleton, cross-country skiing, speed skating, and women's hockey. Russia is filing legal papers so those athletes can compete in South Korea. Peter King, CBS News.
As the nation grapples with a widespread flu outbreak and states continue to see spikes in flu activity, some pharmacies throughout North Carolina are struggling to keep up with the demand of an antiviral drug, Tamiflu. Dr. Joy Green, High Point University professor of pharmacy, tells Spectrum News you can get some help from elderberry.
That product also has some data behind it as well. It mainly will decrease your congestion and can help you feel better, but you want to also be careful. There are some drug interactions, some side effects that go along with elderberry as well.
Levels of Gen X were measured at 16 times higher than the recommended health goal at Chemours Fayetteville work site in December. That information was released by the Cape Fear Public Utility Authority on Wednesday. Monopoly is coming out with a version of its classic board game just for cheaters.
Hasbro says cheating will be part of the rules, with 15 new cheat cards, a tiny pair of handcuffs, as well as heavy consequences and rewards for each dishonest act. The company's senior vice president says the idea came from a recent poll that showed about half of all Monopoly players have tried to cheat while playing. Monopoly, the Cheaters Edition, is due out this fall. It'll sell for $20. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
Well, we're in for a milder day today as a stiff southwesterly flow develops and combines with some sunshine, although that sun will give way to increasing cloudiness this afternoon. And temperatures getting up into the low and mid-60s, so not a bad effort for the first day of February. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a period of rain. Most of it should occur after midnight, the low 40 to 45. And Friday becoming mostly sunny, but breezy and colder with high temperatures in the mid-40s to low 50s. I'm Greg Fischel in the Weather Center.
Right now here in the Sand Hills, sunny skies, 38 degrees, humidity 86%, dew point 34, pressure 3021, winds southwest at 9, and visibility at 10 statute miles. It's 8:12. Let's take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Thursday morning. Deputies have arrested Cecilia Marie Holder, 23 of Carthage, and Nicholas Peter Meserve, also 23 of Carthage, both charged with 1 count of felony larceny, possession of stolen goods, and obtaining property by false pretense, both put in the detention center under a $7,500 secured bond. And for more than a month, the potbelly pig has eluded animal control officers in Lakeview. The pilot reporting that Pork Chop has, as a big pig known on social media, was first seen darting through the woods at the intersection of Yadkin and Bowling Springs Road in Southern Pines on December 27th. He has since taken up residence near the Exxon station at US 1 near US 1, nearly 6 miles from where he was originally spotted. The pig appears to have a cushy setup at the convenience store. He is fed with food and regularly photographed by residents, many of whom share updates about his activities through a Facebook group, Moore County Ask a Neighbor. Several members of the group have observed that Pork Chop is especially fond of a large log lying on the shoulder of the road. Passing motorists frequently see him there on Facebook. While it offers several perks for Pork Chop, the store's proximity to the highway makes it a perilous place for the pig. Pork Chop followers fear that he will eventually grow too comfortable with the presence of cars and wander into the flow of traffic. The Moore County Sheriff's Office has received more than 50 calls about the pig, but efforts to capture him as of yet, as late as Wednesday afternoon, have been unsuccessful. Once he's in custody, Pork Chop won't be lacking for a place to stay. Multiple people have expressed interest in taking the little porker all the way home. That's your latest Sand Hills news this morning, but hang on, here comes your latest in sports right here on Talk 97.3 FM and 990 AM WEEB. It is 8:16.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. A wild second half last night in Greenville. Falling behind by 13, ECU fought back and made it a game with Tulane. Following a second half stretch that saw 9 lead changes, the Pirates called a timeout with 2.3 seconds left. Then, in a moment that could rival the heroics of Christian Leitner, B.J. Tyson caught a Hail Mary pass in the paint and sank a shot before the buzzer to force overtime.
I just had flashbacks of me playing wide receiver in high school. And I was like, I'm going to get this ball if it go over Justin's head, and it went over his head. So I just jumped up in the air. I felt it in my hands. I didn't even know I was that close to the rim. So just turned around and just threw it up. I actually thought I got fouled, and then it just went in. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what happened.
Exciting stuff. Unfortunately, Tulane persevered, outscoring ECU 4-2 in the extra session to win 71-69 in Minji's Coliseum. Head coach Michael Perry.
At the end of the day, I was really proud of the effort. We're getting better as a basketball team, but I'd rather us get to the point where we're, as a young group, we're learning how to win, learning how to finish games off with wins, rather than learning them on the opposite side of a win, which was a loss tonight.
Other North Carolina programs in action last night. Wake Forest held out Florida State 76-72 to earn their first win in 4 weeks. Darrell Moore sealed it, hitting a free throw with 2.3 seconds left to make it a 2-possession game. Davidson smothered LaSalle 84-65. On the pro court, Kemba Walker sank a career-high 9 3-pointers and scored 38 points to lead Charlotte to a dominant 123-110 win over the Atlanta Hawks. Arizona State and basketball coach Bobby Hurley have agreed to a 1-year contract extension. The former Duke standout Hurley led the Sun Devils to a 12-0 record during the non-conference portion of their schedule this season, and they reached number 3 in the AP Top 25. Although they're just 4-5 in the Pac-12, they're in the position to make their first NCAA tournament appearance in 4 years. This is NCN Sports.
Break away from the everyday with Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue.
Okay, in less than 30 seconds, I know I can make you hungry. Ready? Here we go. Chicken breast, chicken wing, drumstick, pulled pork barbecue, potato salad, coleslaw, sweet iced tea. I don't know about you, but I'm starving. Where am I going? I'm headed to Smithfield's.
Break away from the everyday to Smithfield's Chicken and Barbecue.
A Democrat in the governor's mansion, an unconventional Republican in the White House, new state, House, and Senate election maps, all important factors for politics and public policy in North Carolina. What does it all mean? Carolina Journal has the answers, available each month as a free newspaper, every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your #1 source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
Olympic athletes may be getting some unexpected company in South Korea for the games starting next week.
An arbitration court has overturned lifetime bans for doping at the 2014 games for 28 Russian athletes. The court also reinstated 7 Russian medals from the Sochi Olympics. The Court of Arbitration for Sport says it upheld the athletes' appeals because of insufficient evidence. The athletes competed in bobsled, skeleton, cross-country skiing, speed skating, and women's hockey. Peter King, CBS News.
The flu season has gotten so bad that it's shutting down a rabid triangle sports tradition. Duke University is closing down K-ville outside Cameron Indoor Stadium, the tent city where students camp to land tickets for the annual Duke-Carolina rivalry. The Durham edition of the annual game between the Blue Devils and Tar Heels is March 3rd. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
This is Chuck from Sunbelt Service Pros. Are you just not feeling it anymore with your AC service provider? Are you calling those guys because that's what you've always done, or because there's a sticker on the thermostat with an old phone number on it? How about this? Take a chance and you'll be thrilled to find that you're getting real value for your heating and cooling dollars. When you call Sunbelt Service Pros, you are dealing with a professional and reliable service provider. Our technicians are highly trained and certified and can quickly address any issues. Our customers find our technicians and office staff courteous, friendly, and professional throughout the whole process. We're doing something right here. You need to check us out. Find out what you've been missing and call us today. Sunbelt Service Pros at 910-944-2044 or go online to sunbeltservicepros.com.
We're all too familiar with that sound, aren't we? And whether it's hurricanes, snow, ice, or thunderstorms, many of us have learned through experience what it's like to have our lives disrupted by power failures, especially when it affects the very young and the elderly. At Premier Power Generation, they'll protect you against power failure because they distribute the Kohler Power Generation Systems, which automatically provides power even if you're not at home, so that you'll never be without water, heat, air conditioning, or lighting. Premier Power Generations is on Highway 211 just west of Olmsted Village. And to find out more, you can call them at 295-3188. Their technicians are local and always there, and will be glad to give you a free estimate. So to protect yourself against the ever-changing weather, call Premier Power Generation at 295-3188. 295-3188.
From the WEEB Community Calendar. The local Southern Piedmont chapter of the National Wild Turkey Federation is having its annual fundraiser banquet at the Pinehurst Fair Barn on February 2nd. Doors open at 6 p.m. and dinner is at 7:30. There will be catered wild game hors d'oeuvres, store prizes, a live auction, a silent auction, gun raffles, and an open bar. For tickets, call Greg at 910-639-0746. 639-0746.
It's that time of year when you need to be sure your heating system is running properly for your comfort and to reduce your energy bills. Fields Plumbing and Heating has served Moore County since 1948, when its founder, J. Ellis Fields, started providing heating services to residents and local hotels. Today, Fields Plumbing and Heating continues to provide you the best customer service at the best possible price. Fields Plumbing and Heating, the company with the most experience. Call 910-949-3232. 949-3232.
Hey, Jerry, have you seen the new menu at the Hickory Tavern?
Seen it. Try to keep up, will you, Charles? I've already been sampling.
Well, don't just sing it. Bring it. Tell me about it.
For starters, you've got to try the Hickory Tavern's new flatbread. The barbecue chicken flatbread is my favorite. Roasted chicken, barbecue sauce, red onion, jack and cheddar, then drizzled with sour cream and cilantro. And here's something you won't find anywhere else. The Hawaiian pork, yes, pork brie-bite, marinated for 48 hours in a pineapple, ginger, soya, and sesame recipe, served with tavern greens and fries, and reasonably priced, too. Hey, where you going?
Where do you think, Jerry? Time to fuel up at the Hickory.
I got you blocked in. I bet I beat you there.
As we always say, the Hickory Tavern. Come for the game. Stay for the food.
Hey, this is Steve Leader Adams for Relive It Remodeling. I, along with my partner, Larry Postlewaite, have over 70 years of combined construction experience, which ensures all our remodeling jobs are performed to perfection. We recently added a sunroom on a very nice ladies' home in Pinehurst. From the time the permit was issued to completion took less than 3 weeks. Once we start a job, we stay with it until we are 100% finished. Our very satisfied customer said, quote, "I am very pleased. You did everything you promised you would do." If you have a remodeling job, give me a call here at WEEV or call my cell at 910-690-2946 or visit our website at relivitremodeling.com and allow us to come meet with you and give you a free, no-obligation firm bid. That number again, 910-690-2946 for Relive It Remodeling.
I'm Carlton Moore from Keys Appliance. You love cooking for those you love? Good thing the GE Cafe series is made for those who love the kitchen. And unlike most family members, the GE Cafe dishwasher is more than happy to clean up afterwards. Now, with mail-in rebate or online rebate, get a matching quality GE Cafe dishwasher free when you buy 3 other select GE Cafe appliances. To find out more, visit Keys Appliance Center in Aberdeen. Check GEappliances.com, Cafe by 3 for details. Maximum redemption value $1,000. Keys Appliance Center, a world of ideas in one showroom, 104 East Main Street in downtown Aberdeen.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone.
There's a kind of kick going around that I think is a scam to get us to do things we don't really want to do. Someone will say something like, "You can do it. After all, 50 is the new 40." Or, "Come on, 40 is the new 30. It doesn't seem to work at my age." I'll say, "I'm 68. And they'll say, "Come on, maybe you ought to take a nap." What? Every age is the new something except my age? Now, I don't blame people for getting upset with my generation. Did you see those old fools sitting down at the State of the Union address? They can't clap for a war hero, can't clap for a child who puts flags on the graves of soldiers. These men and women made me sick, and it makes me just as sick when the Republicans do it. Their actions clearly showed that they have no interest in bringing this nation together. I don't care how much you hate the president and how much you detest his policies. Get off your old, wrinkled up butt and cheer for the heroes that he introduced. They deserve it. If I could say anything to these Congress people, I'd say, you looked ridiculous. If I'd been a funeral home director, I'd have headed that way. You look like you were half dead. Now, I know I'm beating this dead horse, but one more time. I've never seen such a bunch of hateful, bitter, old coots gathered in one place at one time. I hope they stay out of the Zumwalt zone.
Well, a cold front's on the way, but ahead of it, we're going to be in a rather stiff southwesterly flow of much milder air, so many of us should be able to make it into the 60s this afternoon. And then a cold front arrives tonight with some showers, and it's back to reality tomorrow. For today, sunshine giving way to increasing cloudiness. It'll be breezy and milder, highs in the low to mid-60s. Then tonight, mostly cloudy with a period of rain likely, most of it after midnight, the low 40 to 45. And Friday becoming mostly sunny and breezy and chilly, mid-40s to low 50s. I'm Greg Fischel in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' number one morning show. Mornings with the LeaderMan. Here on Talk 97.3 FM and 990 AM WEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
There's no way that you will get 60 votes.
DACA is also what Hillary Clinton shouts at the bar when she wants another daiquiri.
Thursday's here. Please get out of the house and to your place of business.
I've been working with radio presenters my whole career.
Excellent. Showtime.
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM and 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. It is time once again for Mornings with the LeaderMan. I am Steve Leader Adams.
And I'm Matt Horsey, the LeaderMan's fetid sidekick. It is cold outside, but the sun is shining. It's going to warm up. Maybe rain some, but right now it's beautiful and getting warmer. Text line number 690-0116. 690-0116. You can let us know if you are going for the Patriots, the Eagles, or you're not going to watch.
You know, I think you have something with that pig I had in the news there. It has a thing for the log by the road, and you dance with chairs.
Listen, baby, I dance to keep the women of Moore County turned on and entertained.
Now I just saw the count go down from about 4,000 to 1 on the views. Boy, what a drop.
It's Rubber Band Man. You got to dance to this. Holy moly.
Don't forget, of course, we are being seen around the world on our live video stream. That's available at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is the link on your mobile device. You can get to it with your YouTube app. Put Mornings with the LeaderMan. LeaderMan, one word. And that should get it to the top where it says live now. If you're on a mobile device, just need audio, we suggest the TuneIn app. Put WEEB into the search, and we'll pop up to the top. And if you're on a website, the icon that says Listen Live is in the upper right-hand corner of any of the web pages at our website at talk973.com. One click there, and you're listening. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area. It's going to be the best day of the week by far. Mostly sunny today. We'll be pushing the 60-degree mark before it's all said and done. Tonight, cloudy. Showers move in overnight and into early Friday. So low overnight of 41. Not a big rain event. Less than a quarter of an inch will be falling. And it'll get out of here by Friday noon, I'd say. We'll go partly cloudy by Friday afternoon. Clear Friday night. 44 for a high on Friday. 22 Friday night. And over the weekend, look for 42 on Saturday and rain and 52 on Sunday. So it's kind of like last weekend. Saturday will be your better of the 2 days. Right now around the Sand Hills, winds are southwest at 9, visibility 10 statute miles, pressure is 3021, dew point 34, humidity 86. It's sunny, 38 degrees here at Talk 97.3 FM and 990 AM WEEB. Couple of more thoughts about the State of the Union address. Rush Limbaugh had a good comment on it yesterday's show when he talked about how the media wants Americans to ignore their polls showing positive response to Trump's State of the Union address yesterday. Here's what Rush said.
All of these media people are trying to tell us to ignore their polls from last night. CNN polls will say 80% of the people liked it on CNN. 75% CBS liked it. And they're trying to tell us, but that doesn't matter because it's only people who watched the speech. Oh, really? So a better poll would include people who didn't? Is that what you want us to believe, drive-by types?
I think doing exactly what he did last night.
And then you had Sarah Sanders talking about Nancy Pelosi and the fact that she needs to smile more often.
I think doing exactly what he did last night, and I'm going to be a little bit in disagreement with you. I think Nancy Pelosi looks like that all the time. I think she should smile a lot more often. I think the country would be better for it. She seems to kind of embody the bitterness that belongs in the Democrat Party right now. I think last night was a good step forward. Hopefully they can let go of some of that, and they have to make a big decision. They need to decide, Chris, do they love America more than they hate this president? And are they willing to put some of those differences aside, come together, and do what's right for this country?
Fundamental disagreement is on.
All right, that was Sarah Sanders last night, or yesterday. All right, here's something else for you that might make you feel a little guilty. If this doesn't guilt you into calling your mom more often, I don't know what will. According to a recent study on loneliness, calling your parents more often can actually help them live longer. Researchers followed 1,600 older adults for 6 years and kept an eye on how lonely and isolated they felt. The average age in the study was 71, and people who showed signs of loneliness were significantly more likely to die over the course of the study. In 6 years, 23% of the people felt isolated passed away, compared to 14% of the ones who were more social. And according to researchers, even something as simple as a phone call might help. Obviously, we've known for a while that keeping up with friends and having an active social life can help you live longer. But apparently, it doesn't have to be face-to-face. Just calling or Skyping can help, too. And that's from Reader's Digest. Okay.
And the Journal of the American Medical Association.
Yeah, if a lot of folks retire, but you can't retire from life because that's what will kill you. My uncle said, and I've said this before, he ran he was big in politics. In fact, I forgive him. He was a Democrat, but he was on the Triangle, the RDU board out there at RDU. He sat on that board and helped turn it into a international airport, and he also sat on the board of governors. So he was pretty well connected as far as politics go, and he was a successful businessman in Durham. He owned a concrete block company until he sold it to an Australian company. Came in, made the offer you can't refuse, and he retired. And he said one time, he said, you know, you'd be surprised how quickly people forget you once you retire. And I think that's what sped up his demise, because he was always a cigar man. It's either chewing one or smoking one. And he developed a spot on his lung, and like 3 months later, he was gone. But I think it seems like those that do well and are healthy are the ones that stay active. They find another thing for a purpose in life, I guess you'd say, a reason to get up and go get active. And I think that's what keeps us healthier and keeps our brain engaged and, you know, extends, you know, get the max out of the body is what I say.
There is scientific evidence that loneliness harms your brain.
Well, I mean, if you want to feel truly loved, get a dog. Because they will love you unconditionally, and they always want to go do what you want to do. What more can you ask for? Can't get that out of a human, but you can get it out of a dog.
That is no way to talk about your ex-wife, Steve.
No, there's no pleasing them. That's the problem. All right, let's move on to morning rim shots, shall we? See what we have here. All right, Snurdly, hit it. Rim shot. First in the queue here, the trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp is out. I know you're dying to.
Can hardly wait.
Yeah, and it took them 2 years to make the film, 3 seconds to name it. Pauly Shore turns 50 today. If you want to get him something, don't waste money on a Starbucks gift card. Employees get 30% discount already. Showtime canceled Andrew Dice Clay's comedy series after 2 seasons. I totally disagree with their decision. Not the decision to cancel it, calling it a comedy. Paul Simon has announced that a farewell show in London in July will take place, and he'll have several special guests, including James Taylor, Bonnie Raitt, and, of course, Art Garfunkel will be there selling lemonade. According to Madden NFL 18, the Patriots will beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And by Madden NFL 18, I mean the game's referees. Danny DeVito stars in a Super Bowl ad for M&M. He says he's loved the candy ever since he was little. Okay, bad example, but anyway. An orca in France learned to mimic human behavior. The orca is French, so most of the human behavior involves rolling his eyes at overweight American tourists. 37% of people have talked to their cars like it was a person. You ever done that?
Oh, probably.
The other 63% don't do meth. Walked right into that one, didn't you?
Wait a minute. Why am I laughing?
All right, it is 8:38, 38 past the hour.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When you were 8 and you had bad traits, you
right, my friends, it's time once again. Sucking a big breath of air. Start across the floor like we own it, like we're John Wayne, the Duke. Open up our closet doors, looking in all 30 of our Liberty safes. And today we're going to go to my favorite safe. It has a collection of the get-off-me guns, as I call them. They're powerful. They will kill you, but they're easily concealable. And we'll let Matt reach in. This is safe number 7. And we'll let Matt reach in and grab one.
Well, let's go flashy today, Steve. Here is a bright red Cobra 380. The model is a CA 380 semi-auto pistol. And that's quite a red, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more of a woman's gun.
I don't know. It's a manly red.
All right, well, we'll throw it into, actually, we can put this into our pocket holster. Pin on our badge, grab back cans of whoop ass, and out the door we go now. And relentless pursuit. Stupid criminal news. Stupid criminal news. Number 1 this morning. There's a 55-year-old guy from Albany, California named Sean O'Neill, who had his car towed last Thursday, so he did the only logical thing. He broke into the towing company and their lot in the middle of the night to steal his car back. Unfortunately, he didn't have a spare key and couldn't start the car. So he decided to get revenge instead. He found the keys to one of their tow trucks lying around and hopped in and drove off with the tow truck. But the company has GPS on all of their trucks, so when they realized it was missing on Friday morning, they called the police and gave them its location. And when Sean saw the cops coming, he decided to try to get away.
Why wouldn't you in a truck?
But unfortunately for him, tow trucks top out at about 40 miles an hour. So after a 15-minute medium speed chase, the police easily stopped him with a spike strip. He was arrested on several charges. Stupid criminal news number 2 this morning. Let's count this guy's bad decisions. 36-year-old Michael Eric Baden, Pennsylvania, went to Sheetz convenience store last week and shoplifted a bunch of stuff. That was his first bad decision, but the police stopped him and figured out he was driving a stolen pickup truck. That was his second bad decision. They told him to get out, but he didn't, even after they used a taser on him. Then he slammed on the gas while the police was hanging on to the side mirror. That was his third bad decision. The cop flew off, but luckily he's okay. Michael got into a high-speed chase. Are you keeping count? Yep, that's his fourth bad decision. He finally crashed after about 15 minutes and tried to run away, but the police called him and found he was wearing a T-shirt that said, quote, "really good at making really bad decisions." He's facing a bunch of charges, including aggravated assault, criminal mischief, theft, and fleeing the police. And that, my friends, is your stupid criminal news for this Thursday. All right, it is 8:43 now, 43 past the hour. One little bit of news. Couldn't happen to a bigger jerk. And what are you talking about, Steve? Well, I'm talking about, you remember that little blonde dude from Dukes of Hazzard? Also thought he was a country singer. John Snyder. His estranged wife, Elvira. Well, let me back up first. John Snyder started out, he was on Dukes of Hazzard, then he started singing and doing some little bit of TV work and had a pretty good career going. But you know what? You can't go around in your career and tick off everybody that helps make your career. Eventually, it backfires. When I was in Raleigh, I worked at the Long Branch, and also worked at QDR, which was a country music station in Raleigh. And they, we had big stars come through there. Garth Brooks, George Jones, you name it, we had them at one time or another. Usually we tried to pick them up on the way up in their career while we could still afford them, because the nightclub could only hold so many, only 1,000. We had two sides, and each side could hold 1,000. So the most you could have on one stage is 1,000. And anyway, so if somebody cost $20,000, well, you had to, charge everybody at the door $20. And basically the band got the door, you got the bar. And it was pretty much a win-win situation. So anyway, but you had to guarantee the $20,000. Well, if nobody showed, you were in deep doo-doo. So anyway, John Snyder came one night. And he had a couple of songs out on the country charts. It did well. And but he hadn't had a hit in a while, but he still showed up, and he was on his tour bus. And I asked his manager that if I could interview him for a couple of minutes there in the dressing room inside the club before he went on stage. And he went and talked to him. He comes back and he says, nope. He says, he's months behind on interviews already. Why should he grant you an interview? And I said, well, because I'm standing here with a microphone, ready to go live right now. No, can't do it. The trouble is, what he was doing, he was on the bus with one of my bartenders, and you know what he was doing on there. So anyway, he wouldn't do the interview, and...
No, I don't. Female bartender?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Learning how to make drinks.
Yeah. Anyway, I knew which one it was. It was not going to get into that. Anyway, so I packed things up, went about my way. But you got to be careful who you you tick off and upset in the world. You try to be nice to everybody, if you can. Some people just won't let you, but you try to be, especially if your career kind of depends on it. I mean, you can tick off one person and it won't devastate your career, but if you're ticking off one, you're ticking off a lot of people. They are. For example, because I was ticked. That I got snubbed that bad because, he's behind on interviews. But what's that got to do with right now? Why should I grant you an interview when I'm behind on interviews with other people? Please, you're not that important. So, anyway, I was the music director at QDR.
You're telling me that this TV and music star picked a hot bartender over you?
I guess.
That is so hard to believe.
Anyway, I obviously had to be finished with her to go on stage. I wanted to catch him before he went on stage. We would delay the concert 5 minutes for me to do a quick interview.
If you're going to get a drink right, you got to practice it, Steve.
So anyway, long story short, I was the music director at QDR, and what that entailed was this was back in the days before CDs. CDs were just starting to come out, and this was the day back before digital, where everything is on a hard drive now at the radio station. But back then, you had to play physical cards. They were called cards, which were kind of like an 8-track tape. They were designed a little different. And they fit in the machine, and they would play, and then they'd spin around to the beginning and stop. And, it was a fast-moving tape, so it sounded clean on the FM. And it was 100,000-watt FM. That's the way every station did it before they went digital. And anyway, so we had 1,000 carts in the room of oldies. That's it. I say that's it. That's a lot of oldies, believe it or not. Most stations run with like Mix 101. They have 450 oldies that rotate. That's it. And they, the better mix. People. But regardless, we had 1,000. So when the program director said, okay, I want to put these songs into the oldie rack, well, something had to come out. And that was up to me, which one come out. And I go pick the ones I didn't like out. But now that John Snyder had ticked me off, I picked his songs and took them out and slid in the new oldies. So we had no John Snyders in our oldie rotation. And you say, well, that only hurt him in Raleigh. No, it turns out that QDR is what they call a P1 reporting station to R&R, which is like the Bible of the record industry. It takes the input from P1 stations around the country of what they're playing currently, what's in their oldie rack, everything. And it spits out a list to every station in the country of what's being played across the country that every single program director base his decisions on, because he wants to be playing what people are listening to. And that's what gets you ratings. And so I was the P1 station that said, well, John Snyder came out. John Snyder came out. 3 of his songs that were in rotation came out. And other stations started pulling him out until the point you don't hear his songs anymore, I don't think. Might hear one once in a great while on Sirius because they'll play some off cuts. But for the most part, he's not getting played on the radio. So no residuals. And plus, he probably has heard a lot of other people throughout his career. And he's now, his estranged wife, Elvira, wants her husband thrown in jail because he's $150,000 behind in spousal support. She's been relying on income from a Louisiana property, but that revenue stream's about to dry up because John hasn't been paying the taxes and the IRS is about to foreclose. And here's the gut shot. Elvira says John is low on cash because he's been, quote, squandering a large part of his income via investments in his hobby of making low-budget, poorly produced films and television. In other words, nobody else will hire him, so he just makes the films himself. And they're just not producing income. So, Pretty Face isn't carrying him anymore, I guess. But you can't dump on everybody and expect to. I guess the moral of the story is be nice to everybody that you can. Because you never know the spin-off effect of what you do. And you need to have more everybody pulling for you. And that's, that's a lesson for you youngsters in the car, if you're not at school yet, to what am I trying to say, Matt? To
be nice to people.
Yeah.
Be courteous. Do what your parents tell you.
Yeah. Get them pulling for you. That's the main thing.
Just you know what? It boils down to the golden rule, doesn't it? Treat other people the way you want them to treat you.
Right. All right. Where are we at? Oh, yeah. Matt's over there wanting to count up with us. So let's do some counting right quick, shall we?
And now it's time for...
Random facts.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, a random fact for today. Maybe a spare two if we're good. Wonder Woman is the highest grossing World War I movie by far. It's made almost $413 million at the box office. War Horse is number 2 at about $80 million, and Lawrence of Arabia is third at $45 million.
Did you see War Horse?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good movie.
I'm trying to remember it, but I know I saw it.
That was the movie, without giving anything away, that was the movie where the young man goes off to World War I and
finds
the
his horse
goes off also, is commandeered by the British Army.
Yeah. Horse was taken away when he raised the horse.
Don't give it away.
And He raised the horse, and like you said, a war effort took his horse.
Good movie, though. Highly
Away from
recommend it.
And he wanted it back. Random fact number 2, the poorest 5% of the people in the U.S. are still richer than 68% of the people in the world. Sloths only poop once a week. Bob Barker is 1/8 Native American and grew up on a Sioux reservation in South Dakota. And Frankenstein is the name of the doctor who creates the monster, not the monster himself. And that's your random facts for today.
That last one was kind of... Don't we all know that?
No, everybody, what are you dressed up? Oh, you're dressed up as Frankenstein. No,
Well, I mean,
the doctor was Frankenstein.
But if you put it to them, they're
He
going
was
to say,
just-
yeah, that was a doctor.
He was just a monster.
Frankenstein.
Just the monster. All right, Matt's been sitting over there quiet and texting and unengaged. Let's engage his little brain and see how he is with our weekly know-it-all test and see how he does. Let me get it up here right quick.
After the show, I want a definition of unengaged.
Know-it-all questions.
Bring it on.
We've all heard the expression, the best thing since sliced bread. In 1933, which bread company was first to slice their bread?
You're going to give me options?
No.
Wonder Bread.
It was Wonder Bread. What does the name Newton and Fig Newton stand for?
I don't know. I'll bet you didn't know that either.
A town in Massachusetts, a suburb of Boston, which was close to where the cookies was invented. What is the last word in the Declaration of Independence?
The last word in the Declaration of Independence.
Honor.
Okay.
Hector I will skip it because I can't pronounce it. I want to be fair to you. Lake Tahoe is the only one outlet. Lake Tahoe has only one outlet. Into which body of water does Lake Tahoe flow?
The Colorado River.
No, the Truckee River. 1959 novel set during the French Revolution is possibly the best-selling of all time with over 200 million copies sold. What is the name?
Les Miserables.
No. It's by Charles Dickens.
Tale of Two Cities.
Tale of Two Cities. Identify the author of this fiction work related to the sea. The Old Man in the Sea.
The guy that wrote Moby Dick.
Nope. More boring than that. Ernest Hemingway. And let's see, one quick one. You should know this. Given the name of a classic rock album, guess this artist. Blonde on Blonde. Bob Dylan. Magical Mystery Tour. The group. The Beatles. Rumors. Fleetwood Mac. Can't believe you don't know all these long-haired hippie type groups.
I'm not that old, Steve.
So it goes for this Thursday. Have yourself a great, safe day. We'll see you back bright and early tomorrow, 7 to 9, for a TSIF Thanks Steve It's Friday. Until then, be sure to support all the mom and pop businesses you hear on our airwaves, because they're the backbone of our economy here in Moore County. Your money will stay here, roll over, and create jobs. And don't forget, millions of Americans have fought, they have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. Live today worthy of their and their family's sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams and the LeaderMan. And Nick and Colt the Dog will see you at 2 o'clock this afternoon at the Warm Dog Park.
And I'm Matt Horsley. George Adair famously said, everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. Stay tuned for Chris Plant, then Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, and then Mark Levin. Follow us and like us on Facebook.com/WEEB990.
When I come back,